Excellent. So let's sink our teeth in and see what cards this brings. If I can remember how to open these. It's nice to be back with Lord of the Rings. Nice to be back with Lord of the Rings. There we go. Do some sleeving as well as we're going through. I've heard pretty good things about this kind of cycle, which I don't actually remember what this cycle is called. Does it say? Okay. But got the good morning, Jared. How's it going? Oh. Alrighty. Sands of Harad. I'm gonna put that right there, make it look all pretty. Any weird new rules that we have to go? Side quests. We know what side quests are. Player, side quest and play. Archery. Limit one copy in the victory display. Interesting. Anatomy of side quest. Nope. So it sounds like there's not really anything too new added. David, did you see the trailer for the new animated Lord of the Rings movie? I saw that there was one, but I didn't see the trailer. Does it look cool? That may be a dumb question. Of course it looks cool. I'm excited. I do like the fact that we are getting more animated media through like different areas of pop culture. I think animation is just like a really cool way to express some of those stories. It does. Very anime vibes. Nice. That'll be cool. Yeah, I like how they're leaning into that. That'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. When does it come out? If we talk about this, I can start sorting because I'm gonna need to drop this or sort these out so that we can actually play the game. And is it I assume it's direct to streaming or something. It's not necessarily a there's so much plastic in these. It's not a movie like direct to theater or anything. New stuff, new artwork. See, like in theaters. Oh, that's kind of cool. I wonder how that will do. I, I if I recall anything, I don't think that anime, not necessarily animated movies, but anime typically don't do that well in theater releases. Or am I remembering that incorrectly? This Christmas, that's really quick. That feels really soon for like a new trailer to be 4 months out of a movie. That's awesome. Alrighty, cool. Maybe that will actually get me to the theater. I haven't been to the theater in forever. I'm trying to remember the last time I went to the movie theater. I saw Dune Part 1. Maybe was the last movie I saw in the theater. I didn't realize that there was going to be multiple parts to that movie. And so like I had just reread the book, I was ready and we got like 2 hours into that movie. I was like, we have so much of the book left to go through and I didn't realize it's being broken up into multiple movies. And so like I like left when and like bought food because I was like, I'm not going to survive another 2 hours without food. And then I got back, ate my food, and the movie like immediately ended. Oops. We got three quests. We got three quests in this box. This is pretty exciting. Got a oh, I bet that's a side scheme. It will be kind of cool to lean a little bit more into the side schemes. It's a area of the game that I have really not really poked around with, especially with the player side schemes. I'm wondering if this is just a bad expansion to do it because we're gonna have like encounter side schemes, but basically they are side schemes where you have to choose the quest on the side scheme rather than the main scheme. And when you do that, you add progress to the player side scheme or the encounter side scheme instead of the main scheme. And I think a lot of these are just like really bad, right? Like treat printed text box of each damage character as if it were blank, except for traits. It does have a victory 10 on it. And then when this stage is defeated, heal 1 damage from each character in play. So it does look like, there's a positive for taking it out, but it being around also means that you're not putting progress on the main, which in some scenarios can be a good thing, right? If we're trying to build up a board state, if we know that there's a big bad coming and gonna be punching us in the face, in stage 3, we may want to not push, but also not raise our threat. So if we can successfully quest on a side quest, we feel really good. Jared, I don't know if the anime does well in theaters, but my guess is that they're banking on the Lord of the Rings name drawing people in. Hope this is the case so we get more Tolkien stories adapted. Yeah, that would be awesome, right? That'd be really really cool. Um, to see more anime or and maybe not even just Tolkien stuff. I would love more Tolkien stuff, but also like if we could get like I know Star Wars did some animation and not necessarily anime for Star Wars, but they did have the Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, I think it was, which gave pretty like anime vibes. And I really enjoyed that show. And then there's the animated shows. I'm a huge fan of the animated shows, but I wouldn't necessarily call them like anime. If that makes sense. But alrighty, here we go. We are going to be looking, and I am very happy because the first card that we see is a dwarf card, and it's a Gimli. Two things that I absolutely love: dwarfs and Gimli. So, starting threat of 11, 2/2/2/5 Sentinel, meaning that I can guard for other players at the table. After Gimli is defeated as a defender, spend 1 resource from Gimli's pool after Gimli is declared as a defender. That makes more sense. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. After Gimli is declared as a defender, haha, spend 1 resource from his pool to ready another hero. That hero is Legolas. He gets +1 attack until the end of the phase. That's kind of cool. Okay. I really like it when card games synergize with other cards or specifically call them out. We saw that with like X Mansion and Mutant Education or X-Men Instruction in Champions. And it's just really cool because you can create some like really interesting deck building combos. And I'm hoping that we get some more Legoli. Is it called Legoli? If there's multiple Legolases in hero form, because right now I think we just have the tactics version. We do have some of the ally versions, but then I don't necessarily want to run an 11 cost hero on somebody that on banking on getting an ally on the table, right? Ready for my first look at Lord of the Rings? I'm new to card games. Welcome. Lord of the Rings is awesome. Whenever I watch your streams, it always makes me flirt with the idea of trying more games like this. You absolutely should. They're great games. 100%. Especially this game is fantastic. This game is so good. Hey, we did get another Legolas. Check that out. Another Legolas. So Legolas in blue, which is really fun. Blue with a willpower of 1 makes me a little concerned from a just from like a questing perspective, because I think a lot of times your questing power does come from that blue aspect. You got 9 costs, 1/3/1 with ranged, meaning that I can attack enemies adjacent to other players or engage with other players. After Legolas commits to a quest, discard a card from your hand to ready another hero. That hero is Gimli. He gets +1 willpower until the end of the phase. These feel very awkward to me, right? Because Gimli wants to be attacking. Um, but okay, so if Gimli is questing, then we can quest with Legolas, discard a card to ready Gimli, and then Gimli can defend and ready. Okay, no, it took me a little bit of time to get that sequence, but it does work out. So you can quest with both of them, discard ready, defend, and then ready Legolas up for the attack. And you are getting the benefits there, right? Because Gimli gets, 3 willpower, Legolas is getting 4 attack. Pretty interesting. Probably what we will do is just build off of these characters just because we're breaking open the box and it's like, okay, this looks kind of fun. I am kind of like surprised that they're going with like such big names in a cycle box. Have fun with the stream. I'm off to prepare for hours. And have fun. Have fun. Is there any similarities to Champions? I would say yeah. So it's a similar, it's a cooperative living card game. You're building decks and everything. I think that this game has more to do with the deck building side of things. It is probably a little bit more challenging. Um yeah, it's probably a little bit more challenging than Champions. But yeah, it's very very like similar at a 50,000 foot overview, but then if you're looking at the individual differences, they are very different games. But 50,000 foot, they're both cooperative card games with expansions where you know exactly what comes in those expansions. Legolas is great. Discard Elven Light, ready Gimli, then draw a card by playing. Oh, that's sick. Yes, yes. Alrighty, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's such a cool idea. I love that. Heck yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Next up, we got the Greenwood Archer. 2-cost ally, 0201, Sylvan. We do like that Sylvan trait. After Greenwood Archer enters play, ready a hero. Very interesting. I think the you have to play them. There's very few times where a hero is exhausted when you're playing an ally normally, right? So be interesting to see how that triggers. There are ways that you can exhaust your hero in the refresh phase after you've readied heroes. And so you can use cards like Peace and Thoughts or whatever it was. I don't quite remember exactly what it is, where you can exhaust heroes to draw cards, play this, and then ready those heroes. There's also like Elrond, right? Like you can use Elrond, you have to exhaust him and Villia, pop Greenwood Archer, and ready Elrond. I always like Sylvan. Always like Sylvan. Canadian Mustache. Pretty sad they couldn't squeeze the 4th expansion into the reprints. Heard this cycle was quite good. That's what I keep hearing as well. And so I'm excited for that. That's my going in the binder slot. We got Airborne Guard. This is a 4-cost dwarf ally, 0123. Man, they are really not giving you a lot of willpower in this pack. Sentinel, whenever you play this card from your hand, discard the top 2 cards of your deck to reduce the cost by 2. Cool. You get a lot of discard synergies with the dwarves, with the mining and the White Fox version Lord of the Rings, which I don't remember the name of right now. And so that's pretty cool. Greenwood Archer is a bit awkward until a new Sylvan hero comes out next cycle. That's exciting. That's really cool. I like how they do that. Got the Halfling Bounder. This is a 2-cost. We always like 2-cost allies. 1102. While there's a side quest in the victory display, he gains response. Discard Halfling Bounder to cancel the when revealed effects of an encounter card that was just revealed from the encounter deck. That's pretty cool. You can do that. You can always quest with them, right? So you can quest. It doesn't say exhaust and discard. So you can quest, discard, and be pretty good there. It's a little. I don't love discarding things, but there are horrible when revealed effects. This isn't green, so it means that you don't have to just be running Test of Will in blue, so that's nice. Hey Levi, how's it going? Welcome. Next up, we got the Villagen Dunedain. 4-cost 1323. While there's the side quest in the victory display, does not exhaust to defend. Pretty nice. Interesting. Yeah. It seems like there are a decent amount of side quests in the encounters already, but maybe we'll mess around with some of those side quests, those player side quests. Actually, kind of surprised we haven't gotten any in here. Maybe they're all at the back. Got Unlikely Friendship. Play only if you control a unique character with the Sylvan and another unique character with the Dwarf. Draw a card and add a resource to a resource pool of a hero you control. Excellent. Beautiful. Love it. Especially if we're going to run a Gimli Legolas. It's too hard to play Lord of the Rings. Is it hard to play Lord of the Rings when you know how to play Marvel Champ? Nah. No. It's pretty easy to pick up. Yeah. I would say that the biggest hurdle to any of these games is learning how to play this type of genre of game. And then once you have a basic understanding, like you don't have to learn deck building and like what does that mean, drawing cards, paying for cards, like all of those like little things just kind of add up. And it's just now it's not like what do you mean playing a card or paying for a card. It is how do you pay for a card, and that's just a lot easier to communicate in game terms. Play only if you control a unique character with the noble trait and another unique character with the scout trait. We got that as well with Gimli and Legolas. After a player engages an enemy, reduce their threat by X, where X is that enemy's printed threat. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Hmm. Makes me, yeah. It gets to a point that's like, okay, like card slots are at a premium in the deck, right? You get 50 cards. A zero cost card, which if you're running Gimli and Legolas, you will be able to easily trigger that because they start on the table. It's like, is it just better than Elrond's Council? No. Do you run it with Elrond's Council? I guess Elrond's Council you need a Noldor hero, and we don't have that here. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. We got Dour Handed. Action, deal X damage to an enemy engaged with you, where X is the number of side quests in the victory display. That's going to be a card that I will understand better once I know how many side quests we're adding to the victory display. The Dwarven Shield, I love this art. This art is really, really cool. That shield looks absolutely stunning. Oh, that's so cool. Nice. Attached to a dwarf hero, they get +1 defense. After the attached hero takes damage from an enemy attack, exhaust Dwarven Shield to add 1 resource to the attached hero's pool. That's pretty cool. That's going to give Gimli, pump him up to the 3 defense. This is, I think, also really important to note a way to get plus defense outside of tactics. So this is in that leadership. And so that's pretty nice. You can get Gimli. Honestly, you can throw 2 Dwarven Shields on Gimli, pump him up to a 4. You're probably not taking too much damage at that point. But you kind of are. You kind of are. I'm wondering if we are going to combine these 2 heroes, Gimli, Legolas, with a lore hero. You got a lot of the defense and attack, which is what tactics can typically cover, with Gimli and Legolas. And so if you time it in with a lore hero, which then adds in the healing, you can really just use Gimli as your main defense strategy. Legolas is that main. Oh, and then you get a resource from Dwarven Shield, which then can be used to pay for Legolas to ready. That's cool. That's cool. That's a fun little interaction. You do have to take damage, which is annoying. So at least you're like redoing it. Istari pack opening. Hello. Yeah, we're starting with the pack opening just because we're playing one of these quests today, and I had not opened it yet. Mirkwood Long Knife. Not as cool as looking as the shield. It's still pretty cool though. Attached to a Sylvan hero, they get plus. Oh wow, +1/+1. That's pretty decent. 2 stat boosts on 1 card draw. I like that. Plus, it pumps Legolas up to like a 2/5 if you use Gimli's ability to ready them. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. We got The Road Goes Ever On. Attached to a quest card in play. When the attached quest is defeated, the first player chooses a player. The player searches their deck for a side quest and adds it to their hand and shuffles their deck. Interesting. And then we got a side quest here. The Storm Comes. The Storm Comes. You got, what is that, Theodred and Gandalf? Limit 1 copy of the Storm Comes in the victory display. While this quest is in the victory display, the first ally played by each player each round does not require a resource match. Wow, that's kind of interesting. Huh. Dwarven Shield is a little weird with Gimli since Gimli plays when he's declared as a defender and the shield gives a resource. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like the Storm Comes is so situational and hard to pull off, right? Like, you're adding resources, or you're adding cards to a deck that are dead until you draw this one of card, which I guess you don't have to only add one card of the Storm Comes In. You can add three, but you can only ever play one of them. That seems weird. Seems a little wonky to me. I don't know. I don't know if there's a ally that I care that much about. Unless there's another way to tutor this, right? Like the road goes on. Sure. Like I guess we could do that. First quest for the Harad? Yes, it is. Hey Robert, how's it going? So yeah, I'm not 100. I'm not convinced on the storm goes on. Not convinced on the storm goes on, but the rest of the pack is interesting. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that super wows me. Even the heroes are kind of okay. That's kind of cool. I guess like the Mirkwood long knife is pretty decent. Great cycle, nice. The storm comes is kind of cool. To the storm comes is kind of cool not to include dead cards, but the smooth resources in a three sphere. Oh, that makes more sense. Oh, I see. Okay, okay, okay. For some reason, I was reading that like if you have a tactic ally in your deck, but you're not running tactics, now you can play that. I didn't think about it as like individual resource matches playing for a tactics or a leadership ally with Legolas's ability. That's cool. Okay. That makes it a little better. Makes it a little better, I guess. So, yeah.